Aujourd'hui, je vais parler de why I think the entire category of luxury goods are mostly terrible deals. I mean, is that even an unpopular opinion? Who knows? I might just be too far down my own rabbit hole. Hey, XenPuck here. Oh man, it just feels like it's been a while since I've talked about money-related subjects, and today's rant's a really easy one for me, because good lord, I hate luxury goods. But you know, I don't want to concentrate on my haterade for too long and too often, right? Obviously, love is what's more important. So really, it's about how much I prefer to have money instead of having spent it on luxury goods. Money is much more flexible. It can be used to buy assets that make even more money. I mean, that's the real reason why I love capitalism, right? Money is capital. That's the big difference here, right? Some people will argue luxury goods can be assets, or type of assets goods, and that's true in the sense that anyone can win the lottery, right? Technically true statements that are just incredibly unlikely in practice. So yeah, I don't think anyone would disagree that money in its purest form is good to have, so instead I'll use my little forum to talk about or rail on why luxury goods are generally bad ideas. Pretty sure I'm in the minority here because luxury goods are huge businesses everywhere in the world, but if I can change even one aspect of one person's thinking about the subject, I'd be happy with that. So if you're intrigued by what I might say, please subscribe, like, comment, and share all that social media buzzwords, or whatever, because I'm rich enough for me, and I will be great regardless. So point one, right? Luxury goods are a want, not a need. So it serves no real short-term value, right? So my first reason is really simple. We'll break down where luxury goods fit on a very generic common budget. And that's the 50-30-20 rule. In the traditional sense, 50% goes to needs, 30% goes to wants, and 20% goes to savings. Obviously, I think this is financial beginner level drivel, almost as basic as Dave Ramsey's lessons. But hey, the split sounds good, so I'm just gonna use it, but revise the attached categories, right? My version of 50-30-20 goes like this. 50% goes towards investment immediately, 30% on all needs, and 20% on all miscellaneous, such as even saving for emergencies and all other costs, right? So basically 30% for needs, aka short-term, and 70% for long-term goals. I did call my 20% miscellaneous, as in, I mean, I'm not unreasonable. I think one should be able to treat oneself, say, once a year. So that would come out of the miscellaneous category, right? Luxury goods of any kind would be part of this 20% spend, maybe 5% of that 20%. So basically 1% of someone's income is the max of what can be or should be spent on luxury goods, in my opinion anyway. I think that's fair. The reason is that all luxury goods are just vanity. You don't need it. Wants are infinite. Wants can snowball, right? There's no ceiling once someone gives in to wants. We human beings always want more. There's always more expensive in literally any category of goods, right? So without a clear set of mental controls in mind, this can spiral ad infinitum. One day you say you want, business class flights. The next day it'll be private entrances via helicopter or fractional shares of jets, and then onwards to full-on private jets, aka the money drain. Yeah. Point number two, luxury goods are also burden, right, once you do own it. So the practical downsides of luxury goods is that the initial purchase isn't even the end of it, right? I posturized earlier about private jets, but this applies to really a lot of large items like boats and cars as well, right? These types of luxury require very high ongoing costs. Where are you gonna park your fancy car? It can't just be in a carport if your car is worth a few hundred G's, right? Can't go to just any mechanic because not that many people work on exotic cars, do they? Boats and planes are even worse, right? Just owning them become an albatross over someone's neck. Same with additional vacation homes that people leave empty year-round. Just look at the celebrities that you've heard in the news, right? Some Hollywood celebrities that have made hundreds of millions, right? That's like 9 figures, are still having to work because it's expensive to upkeep 50 houses that they own around the world. When a single person can only live in one house at a time, right? This is not rocket science, my dudes. Come on. Yeah, it's just it's just only car. It's not just only cars, boats, and planes either. I'm not rich enough, nor do I care for those types of silliness. But personal anecdote, right? I don't know if you can see, but this table that I have, that I've been using as my office desk, little oval marble table, was one of my personal luxury splurges back when I didn't know any better. Even this has become a burden because I've had to pay extra 2 times when I have to move it, right? Because this thing is delicate and needs special packaging so the marble doesn't break. What a joke. It is just a table. It holds stuff. Sure, it's pretty, but it's not like so pretty that I needed to show it to all my friends that come to visit, okay? Though honestly, I feel like I'm almost obliged to show it to them, right? Just so in my mind it's worth all the hassle of keeping the darn thing. Womp womp. I promise you this, if we move again, I'm tossing this thing, right? Selling it or tossing it. Not moving this again. It's ridiculous. Okay, final point, right? Luxury goods often are not even any better than any other type of goods, right? But only represents an idea, as in we buy into the exclusivity and a cachet, cultural cachet, whatever. This is, of course, a perfectly natural human urge. After all, we all want to stand out amongst our peers, right? And brand name clothing or cars or whatever is a really easy way to distinguish ourselves, except that they're not, right? They serve no such purpose in the West, at least, because, you know, there's really relatively easy available source of credit in the form of credit cards. So basically anyone can have these type of items. Yes, even luxury cars. I mean, have you ever met a car salesman who can somehow manage to make a gigantic unnecessary car loan happen? Okay. Obviously, the loan doesn't work for the consumer, but works for the car dealership that finances them, right? My point is, most luxury goods these days do not actually even convey any sense of exclusivity, so it loses its actual purpose. I'll make an exception here, of course, right? If you think some luxury good item on its own like is worth something, as in someone, if someone thought your Hermes scarf was worth only $5 and you're okay with it and still would love it because of the design, then hey, okay, at least I can say that you like the product for right reasons, for you and not for the world around you. Okay, that's the exception. So in conclusion, I'm not saying that no one should ever spend on anything that's not completely necessary. I'm just saying that it should not be the default choice, okay? Frankly, most people are too self-absorbed to notice what you have anyway, okay? And also, it's probably safer to drive around in a boring car than a fancy one. So even besides financial and philosophical reasons, there are just plenty of boring practical reasons to avoid the luxury hype train. Buy what really matters to you. And if you, like most people on the planet, feels like luxury brands really matter to you, well then I would suggest a week-long nature retreat without your smartphone and maybe jump into a body of water that's right above freezing temperature because your mindset needs that hard reset. Seriously though, tell me what bullcrap luxury items you've bought that you now regret, right? Because I know I have at least a handful of those. Hey, I'm no better than anybody else, of course. If you've been watching these videos, I'm sure you can tell, okay? Cheers, à la prochaine.